It's spreading around the world now. It was originally in the Wuhan province. According to official accounts from China, it came from originated from a livestock flea market where they would sell live animals, and people in China apparently eat different exotic live animals, and somehow one of these exotic live animals, whether it was a bat or some other animal that is not normally eaten and is certainly not cooked, transferred a virus to a human being, and that's how this whole entire thing began. Oh, wow. There's other conspiracy theories that the United States released it, that China released it into the atmosphere as part of some biochemical, nuclear, I don't know,
thing where the pharmaceutical companies will.
But I'm going to stick with that somebody's eating some raw animal that they shouldn't have, and that's how it started. There are now 2,600 lives that have been lost as a result of the coronavirus worldwide. 80,000 people have been sickened, which it's not good that 80,000 people have been sickened, but at least it gives me pause to say, if you get coronavirus, let's talk about this for a second. It's not a death sentence to every last person who gets it.
Right.
If 80,000 people have, and maybe these statistics are off because maybe China's undercounting. We don't know what's going on in Iran yet.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that in a second. But if 80,000 people have gotten coronavirus and only 2,600 people have died, maybe if you get it, it's somewhere based on those statistics, and I'm doing my math in my head, about a 3 to 3.5% chance of dying from this, and about a 96 to 97% chance of surviving and just having a very bad virus. It really comes down to, so people are freaking out about this, but it really comes down to, from what the little I understand, and nobody really understands fully, but it seems that the people who are dying, at least anecdotally, are people who are not being treated properly. Very, very young infants. So if you have a young baby, you have to be very, very careful. And elderly people, especially elderly people with an underlying other medical condition.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you base it on this, the hysteria that if you get coronavirus, you're going to die, it's a 2 to 3%, only 2 to 3% of the people.
Does it say that anybody has been cured from it yet?
A lot of people have survived it. It's not, there's no cure. It's like getting a cold or any other type of virus where you just gotta let your body heal and fight it off.
So I'm saying, like, has
people
anyone got it and they're okay now?
Yes.
Like, don't have it in their system anymore?
Yes. Okay. If you notice, there's this 14-day incubation period. Right. So from the day that you're exposed to it, it's 14 days later that symptoms start to appear, and then only if of those symptoms that appeared in 80,000 people, apparently 77,400 people had their body fight it off. They ate a lot, had a lot of liquids. They sweated it out. They must have been extraordinarily miserable. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
So just like a regular flu. Almost.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, because people are flipping out about this.
Right.
Okay, which is why I didn't wear a mask yet.
Okay.
Based on these statistics that I've been reading.
Okay.
And I think I'm a pretty healthy person, although I probably eat a little too much red meat. If you ask my doctor.
Yes.
Okay. But I would ask you, and I don't know this statistic right now. If one of you can do this, Google the number of people who got sickened by influenza last year, and the number of people who died. For those who don't know what influenza is, it's the regular flu. Okay? We get the flu every year. It comes for 6 months, and then it goes away.
Yep.
What is the number of people, just from statistics last year, that got the flu and survived?
So I got it.
Okay, what do you have here?
So CDC estimates that up to 42.9 million people got sick during 2018-2019 flu season. 647,000 people were hospitalized and 61,200 people died.
So you have 61,000 people died last year from the flu.
Mm-hmm.
2,600 people so far have died from coronavirus. Now, 61,000 out of 42 million. So the odds of dying from the flu are probably less than 1%.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, the odds of dying from coronavirus is right now at around
about the same?
three. No,
three.
around
more.
3%.
Oh, yes.
Both very, very low. Obviously, you know, the flu is less. But there is potential, and most people who die from influenza, the flu, are babies and elderly people.
Right.
The answer is yes, you should be very concerned about coronavirus, but let's put everything into perspective. Even if it becomes a pandemic, based on what the statistics are right now, you're going to live. It'll be miserable, but you're going to live.
Yep.
Thank God.
Now, Iran Deputy Health Minister IrajHarirchi, he came out the other day. He was the health minister. He had a big, this guy, he had a big press conference in Iran. And he says, there is no coronavirus in Iran. And he sat next to a whole bunch of dignitaries and a lot of people in the press. Well, apparently, 24 hours later, he came down with coronavirus.
Oh.
And now everybody who was in that press conference now may have been exposed. And now he has put himself in a quarantine, and they're now should be asking those people who were in that press conference to quarantine themselves too. Outside of China, Iran supposedly and South Korea have the biggest numbers of people who have been sickened by coronavirus, followed by Italy. Now in South Korea, the number of cases is 1,200. One service member has gotten it in the United States service. Bahrain and Kuwait have 90 cases and 15 deaths. China, the number of deaths in China and the number of people being diagnosed in China is going down, but the number of people around the world is going up. The United States currently has 57 cases. Most of them were people who evacuated the cruise ships that we know of. Yo-Yo believes that there could be more lurking.
Yep.
He believes that. Now, the CDC immunization chief, Nancy Messonnier, warned Tuesday that disruption to everyday life is going to be severe, even here in the United States of America. It's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen and how many people in this country will have a severe illness. Yesterday, the San Francisco Mayor, London Breed, made an emergency declaration in response to the global outbreak of the coronavirus. San Francisco is on alert, even though even in San Francisco, nobody yet is sick.
Okay.
And that is what's going on with coronavirus.
Yeah.
The other things I can tell you is it has started going through Europe. Anecdotally, I have a friend in Milan, and my friend in Milan has told me that Milan is like a ghost town right now. Everybody is staying at home.
In Italy.
That's in northern Italy. Everyone's staying home. People are not going to church. They've cleaned out the food stores in Italy. There's empty shelves in the food stores, and even schools are closed. But most eerily is that the streets are empty in Milan while they wait this out. In Austria, got their first, some guy from Italy went to a hotel in Austria and came down with the coronavirus, and now everybody in that hotel is on 14-day lockdown. And I understand the first person also died in France of coronavirus. That's what's going on with coronavirus. Wow. That's all the news that I have right now on coronavirus. Meanwhile, this presidential election is going on. They had a debate last night. A showdown. Yeah, and you know what? I'm just like, I'm a never Trumper. Okay, I am a never Trumper, but I am a moderate Democrat. I am not a progressive. That's kind of my political persuasion.
Okay.
You know, I'm kind of more moderate, more centered. I'm not, but right now it looks like the Democrats are going to elect Bernie Sanders. who is a left-leaning socialist, to go up against Donald Trump. And I believe that the Democrats could have almost put anybody but a socialist up there who would have a really good chance of beating Donald Trump. But listen, what do I know? But I think I know a little bit. But I think when we have a choice between Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, and the fight to see who is going to win the election is in the suburbs of many different states, in the white middle-class suburbs, you're not going to get a lot of white middle-class Americans voting for a socialist.
Right.
And if the that's my opinion. And if the Democrats end up electing Bernie Sanders as their nominee, I think we're going to have 4 more years of Trump.
Shit.
But I don't know. I could be wrong. What do I know? I'm not a political, I bet last time that Clinton was going to beat Trump. So I'm not, I haven't been right yet. So, but I'm telling you where it is.
I have a headache.
Yeah. So, and apparently I'm not the only one who thinks that way, because we know the Russians want Donald Trump to become the president. So if the Russians want Donald Trump to become the president, who would the Russians help the most on social media to try to get the Democrats to elect? Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now, U.S. officials have told Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and President Donald Trump that Russia is meddling in the 2020 presidential election by helping both of their campaigns. Sanders was informed last month, while Trump was informed last week of Russian attempts to boost their campaigns. So the Russians want Trump versus Sanders because they know Trump is going to kill Sanders. Okay.
That's wild.
So Trump tweeted Friday morning, another misinformation campaign is being launched by Democrats in Congress, saying that Russia prefers me to any of the do-nothing Democratic candidates who still have been unable to, after 2 weeks, count their votes in Iowa. Hoax number 7. Now, yesterday in India, Trump again denied that he was receiving help from Russia. Sanders says he doesn't want help, but hasn't done anything to stop the Russians from helping him. But yesterday, Trump again denied that he was receiving help from Russia, stressing he doesn't want any assistance from any foreign powers. Let's watch.
If someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening.
But now he told George Stephanopoulos in June 2019 something different. Let's watch. That's what we just played. But he also said he didn't want any help from the Russians just this past week. Now, during a news conference in New Delhi while on a state visit to India, Trump again said this. I'm just told to hold on. All right, we'll continue on to other conversations. Last Tuesday, Trump granted clemency to 11 people. Let's take a look at them quickly. Okay, Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. I can't even pronounce his name. Blagojevich.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Could totally be that.
Right, maybe. All right. He was serving a 14-year sentence for taking bribes as governor of Illinois. Trump pardoned him. San Francisco team owner, 49ers owner, Eddie DeBartolo Jr. He also...
These are the people that...
Yes, he also was a felon in a bribery case. Trump pardoned him. Michael Milken. He was the 1980s junk bond king. He served 22 months of a 10-year prison sentence for violating security laws. Trump pardoned him.
What?
New York Police Commissioner Bernie Kerik. Remember him?
No.
He was the guy who was stopping and frisking everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Trump pardoned him after 3 years in federal prison for tax fraud and lying to officials. All of this last week while I'm on vacation. Yeah. Ariel Friedler. He issued a pardon to him, a software entrepreneur who pled guilty to conspiracy to access a protected computer without authorization, and he was serving 2 months in prison. Now, does any of these people...
So a bunch of rich white guys who kind of just like...
in white-collar crimes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
White-collar crimes.
There you go, Jonathan.
So.
Ding, 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 ding. All right.
You got it.
Roger Stone, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Trump wanted no prison time for him. I think he'll be the next guy who also gets pardoned. And finally, this is ridiculous before we get to our Hump Day stories. There was the caucus in Nevada, Jonathan. You look bored.
No, I'm
Caucus
just
in
like,
Nevada.
I'm kind of like,
What?
that last
Upset?
story. Yeah, that's just wild.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Yeah. There were pigeons with Make America
Oh,
Great
gosh.
Again hats glued to their heads, released in Las Vegas on the day of the Democratic Nevada caucus.
I've seen this.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the group was called Putin, Pigeons United to Interfere Now.
Wow.
Wow.
They launched 25 pigeons as part of a protest piece in response to the 2020 Democratic presidential hopefuls. You get a laugh out of this, except for the fact that it's animal cruelty.
Yeah, it is.
Mariah Hillman, who runs Lofty Hopes, a Las Vegas pigeon rescue organization, called the MAGA stunt animal cruelty. The pigeons are wearing the hats with the help of eyelash glue. They glued these hats on to pigeons, which is terrible.
Could you imagine?
All
one
right,
of them
so
could you imagine one of them like flying to New York and you just see a random
Oh my
pigeon
God.
with a MAGA hat with like a Trump wig?
Meanwhile, we may not have any Trump videos, but we certainly have some camels, Julian.
Oh,
Where are those
okay.
camels? It's Hump
Let
Day.
him out.
There we go. It's Hump Day. By the way, this is Vanessa's favorite
This
day.
is my favorite
Right,
day. I
she-
hope you have some
That's
good,
right.
juicy Hump Day stories
Oh.
on there.
Yeah,
Could be juicy.
Some moist Hump Day
Story.
news.
Some moist. Well, I don't know if I have any moist
I
stories.
said juicy.
All right, but I certainly
Yo-Yo
have some.
wants to use
I have
moist.
some really hard news here
Oh,
when it comes to Hump Day.
All the puns intended.
All right. Now, Steven Spielberg's daughter,
Her. Ooh.
yes, has revealed. Did you hear about this?
Yes.
Has revealed that she is a porn star. Steven
Wow.
Spielberg's 23-year-old daughter is following her father's career by working in the film industry, but she's doing so by going down a very different path. In a new interview with The Sun, the adopted daughter of Steven and Kate Capshaw revealed that she had begun self-producing adult videos and would love to be a licensed sex worker and dance in a strip club. Her name is Michaela. She lives in Nashville, Tennessee, and she described herself as a sexual creature. She speaks to her parents regularly and told them via FaceTime, claiming they were intrigued but not upset. In an interview, she said, "I got really tired of not being able to capitalize on my body, and frankly, I got really tired of being told to hate my body.
Whoa.
And I also just got tired of working day to day in a way that wasn't satisfying my soul. I feel like doing this kind of work, I'm able to satisfy other people. That feels good because it's not in a way that makes me feel violated."
So yeah, so her argument was, she was basically,
She's done with 9 to 5.
You know about this story.
Yeah,
This is the first
to
time
not
hearing.
to not love her body. You know what I mean? That's what society had. That's what she felt that society was telling her, not to love her body. So this is kind of like her way of showing, a F you to all
Is
them.
this
and
is
it's
this
like-
not to get
It's
money?
almost.
Is this about money?
I mean, her parents.
because her dad's a
Need it.
billionaire,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
she doesn't need the
it's
money,
not, it's
right?
Not money.
No.
So that's what from what I read, hers it's almost like the slut walk, Amber Rose's slut walk, where girls are being shamed for wanting to dress sexy and do their own thing. So this is her like body positivity and making
the
other
nipple.
people free the nipple. That's basically what it is.
Now-
so I mean, I see where she's going, but it's still like what? Like how is her dad okay with it? That's weird to me.
yeah.
He seems like an open-minded sort of
Well,
guy.
he hasn't come out and said he's okay with it. She says he
That
says
he
he's okay.
supports.
Well, now she says this is exactly what you said. She says this is a positive, empowering choice. I realize there's no shame in having a fascination with this industry and wanting to do something that's safe, sane, consensual. She does have her limits, though. She said she will not have sex with another person out of respect for her fiance, Chuck Cow.
And she got a.
So how is she not having sex with another person and wants to be in a
So she's
in a
gonna
porn?
probably touch herself.
maybe
Just touch
she could
herself.
do other things.
I mean,
Do
you
other
can do a
things.
lot of stuff by yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Squad? I mean, that's strange. The daughter of Steven Spielberg, who's a billionaire's daughter, basically.
But not
Who
just
has-
any.
who
Just
has a
not like a
fiancé.
film.
who has a fiance, decides that she wants to do porn.
Like-
isn't that weird?
But isn't the irony in like one of the greatest filmmakers of all time's daughter
Right.
is in a different category of film.
Maybe she'll be the Steven Spielberg of porn.
Hey, yeah, but that's part of
She
her.
could create a whole billion-dollar
mantra.
industry with that.
I don't know. Meanwhile, if you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about Gwyneth Paltrow's
Her fragrance.
fragrance, and her fragrance is basically you wanted to smell
Right.
Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. Well, to outdo
Sold out again.
Gwyneth Paltrow, Erica Badu.
Erica.
Erica Badu.
Excuse me.
Erica.
Erica.
Brad's just switching up all the names.
Yeah.
Whatever your name is, it doesn't
switches
matter
up.
today.
So she launched Badu's Badu World Market, an online shopping store, last Thursday, and she also made a fragrance that smells like her vagina.
Yes.
It sold out in 10 minutes.
Yes, it did.
Yes,
Wow.
the site was launched at 2:22 Central Standard Time, and minutes later, a banner on the site with the words "Badu Pussy Premium Incense" was followed by the words "Sold out." But never fear, if you want to smell her vagina,
Did you guys get it?
they are going to restock very soon. Okay.
That's wild.
See, but
thing.
She is working on restocking her fragrance.
It doesn't surprise me that Erica Badu
Doesn't
would
at all.
that she
If
would do
anything,
this.
Gwyneth Paltrow, I don't think it's really her scent. Erica Badu, I think it probably really is her scent. Like she's that type of girl.
Yeah.
This is what she said. She got herself very excited,
Oh my God.
and then she took her pair of her panties from the time
You're
that she.
lying.
I'm telling you what I'm reading here on the card.
Oh my God.
Okay, unless this
Part of
card
the
is
story.
lying. This is what she did. She got
You
herself
know you
excited.
can see it. Let him speak.
She got herself excited, and she took the pair of panties she was wearing when she got herself excited. She took them off. She took out a scissor, and she cut those panties into tiny little pieces and burned them. And even the ash, that smell of the burnt, wet panty,
Told you
is
there
the
was
smell.
juicy news.
Is the smell of the Badu Pussy Premium Incense.
I love how you say
Now,
that.
in an interview with 10 magazine, Badu said, "There's an urban legend that my pussy changes men."
There is.
Is that an
There is
urban legend?
There is a.
Do you know
urban
this for a fact?
I
She should
do.
have like a sage.
She has.
You
she
know-
has,
you-
she has like she's out there. She's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
one of those with like the whole
Yeah.
spiritual,
Well,
grounding. Yes.
holistic.
Well,
So
she,
it makes sense.
She is very full of herself, because she says, "The men that I fall in love with and fall in love with me, they change jobs and lives for me." True or not true?
Yeah.
She's Erica Badu, one of the baddest in music.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if anybody ever watches Wheel of Fortune,
Yes, I do.
It's been a
I
while
used
since
to.
I
Yes.
watched
I
it.
used to.
yeah, a week ago on Thursday, they had an episode that kind of cracked everybody up. A contestant by the name of, my grandmother used to watch it.
Mine did too.
Yeah. So I remember when I was a kid, I'd go over and watch, I'd go over to visit grandma. We'd always watch Wheel of Fortune.
Wow.
It's the only time I ever watched it was when I got to visit grandma. So meanwhile, apparently the Wheel of Fortune is still on the air.
Yeah.
40 years later.
Decades later. Yeah.
Decades later.
Was it always Pat Sajak?
It's
and
still,
Vanna
I
White?
assume so. They were up there in age when grandma was watching 40 years ago, so I have no
Jeez.
idea what they look like now.
Look, that's how he looked.
How's he look? Let's
Plastic.
see. Let's see.
Well,
He hasn't changed in 40
at
years.
all. That's crazy.
I'm going to tell you something. You know what they must do? This guy, Pat Sajak, because that's how he looked like when I used to watch with grandma. All right, I don't know this for a fact, okay? But I'm going to assume that they have a big vat. They have a big vat of liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
And after they finish taping Wheel
They
of
just-
Fortune, they just throw him in the vat
Yeah.
of liquid
Right.
nitrogen until the next taping.
Until the next
Just
day.
keep him
because
there.
this guy looks the same 40 years later.
Him and Vanna White.
So meanwhile, contestant Adam Godell, he scored $2,450 and advanced to the bonus round for solving the puzzle, brushing up on my Italian sausage, a phrase that got much more attention than the player who guessed it. I never heard that phrase. Have you ever
No.
said, I'm going to brush up on my Italian sausage?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so those watching at home took to Twitter to express disbelief over the solved puzzle, which was dubbed kinky and hilarious. One tweet said, So apparently the solution to a puzzle on Wheel of Fortune yesterday was brushing up on my Italian sausage, and I think the jokes write themselves. Another user wrote with several laughing face emojis. Now, host Pat Sajak even joined in the laughter. After the scandalous puzzle was revealed, he provided a smirk and quickly said, it's a grilling expression.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one I'm not familiar with.
So I guess Wheel of Fortune needed a little publicity.
Yeah.
So they were brushing up.
They had to spruce things up 40 years later.
They had to. A man was hospitalized after suffering a 3-day erection for taking Viagra for bulls. Did you hear about this?
No.
A man was admitted to hospital after suffering from an erection for 3 days. It turned out he tried to buy some Viagra, but was sold Viagra for bulls. Now, according to the doctors who treated this particular man, the substance that he took, thinking it was a Viagra, was used to stimulate bulls for insemination.
What? Was this in the States?
This was in Mexico. So he basically took a Viagra for bulls. He was admitted to the Specialties 270 hospital. The man ingested a sexual stimulant that he brought from Veracruz, used by farmers. The man said he took the Viagra for bulls because he planned to have successful sexual encounter with a 30-year-old girl. Now this man is, how old is this man? 90?
Now you can have sex with 30 of them.
I don't know. I mean,
for a few days.
Yeah, I don't mean to be politically incorrect, but I forgot who this comedian was. But there was a comedian years ago, and it's completely politically incorrect. But since this is Hump Day, what the hell, right? So
we allow this kind of commentary.
I don't remember who the comedian is, so I can't take the joke as my own. But I remember a comedian said, I took a Viagra, and I looked on the back of the package, and it said, if you have an erection for more than 4 hours, you should call your doctor. And he says, man, if I have an erection for more than 4 hours, I'm not calling a doctor, I'm calling a prostitute. So with that, I think,
this guy should have heard that joke.
Right. All right, so the world's hottest grandma, who's about to be a Playboy star, says there's one trait she can't resist in men, and took to Instagram, accusing them of shadow banning her. Now, Gina Stewart, she is far from the stereotypical grandma. The 49-year-old mother of 4 and grandma to 1 regularly shares steamy photos with her thousands of social media followers. She also made it to Maxim's Hot 100 Models list, and she's about to star on the front cover of Playboy magazine.
Wow.
Yes. Now, she may be the internet's hottest grandma, but I have to say something.
She's a grandmother?
She's a grandmother.
She has 1 grandchild.
All right.
Still.
Yes, she's a grandmother, but I have to say something. I am in the running for the internet's sexiest uncle.
That's exactly what the squad was going.
That's what they were thinking, right?
We were all thinking it, Brad. You beat us to it.
America's sexiest uncle. Here he is, BradBernstein, Uncle Brad. So now Gina, she lives on the Gold Coast in Australia, and she helped raise. So now she's got new attention because she said that the best way to get attention is to know a good grandma joke. Then they might be fun to play with. So she says American accents have always done it for her. She loves guys who talk like Matthew McConaughey or Patrick Swayze. She lives on the Gold Coast of Australia. She just helped raise $250,000 to aid rescue efforts for stricken wildlife, and she isn't bothered by her hot grandma nickname. She says, it was never a dream of mine to be labeled the world's hottest grandma. It is not a dream of hers, but she certainly took to the internet to make that dream happen.
Hey, she didn't choose this life, Brad. This life chose her.
That's right. Just all of a sudden, she just started saying to everybody, "Look, I'm a grandma," and post sexy pictures.
Jeez.
Right.
It just didn't. I wasn't planning on being the world.
Sex sells.
That's right.
Sex still sells.
Grandmas are so different in this day and age than from when I grew up.
That was, by the way, that didn't look like anything like my grandma that I used to watch. My grandma didn't look anything like that.
Wheel of Fortune with your grandmother like that?
I would go to visit grandma to watch Wheel of Fortune. In the middle, she would take out her fake teeth to clean them, and it would just gross me out.
Wow.
And I'm like, one thing I've ever learned from grandma taking out her fake teeth during Wheel of Fortune is go to the dentist, because I'm never getting any fake teeth.
Yeah, well, this grandma's pulling out her fake boobs.
That's right.
Because I'm on her page right now, and that's all I see.
Yeah.
All right, so finally, our last hump day. A Japanese firm holds a bizarre funeral for sex dolls with a porn star officiating. Did you see about this?
No.
These sex
Yes.
dolls are really like.
In Japan, they love the sex dolls in Japan. I don't know what it is with Japan and sex dolls.
I don't either.
What?
I mean.
What's with that? What's with those kicky people over there in Japan?
Maybe they can't find like the perfect
I don't
sex
know.
partner,
I
so
don't
they're
know.
just
There's-
creating them.
I
in
don't know. There's
these-
a lot of pretty women in Japan, I would assume, right?
Well, I mean, Japan also is like known for like technology and stuff like
Maybe.
that. So it's probably, you know, like some
Not
stuff
your
that they've
average
been. Yeah,
sex
look at
toy.
that.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
So now for 630 euros, which is about $800.
Yeah.
Men can now say a formal goodbye to their sex dolls with one of 3 burial plans from Japan's Human Love doll company. So after you get tired of your doll, or your doll kind of starts deflating on you, starts getting old and saggy,
put her to sleep?
you can put the doll to sleep and have a funeral for this doll for only 630
Oh my gosh.
euros. The
Affordable.
services are officiated by a porn star, Ray Kato.
Wow.
I don't know who Ray Kato is. Is that Ray Kato or that's a doll? That's a doll. Okay. We have no pictures of Ray Kato, but apparently she is a porn star in Japan. But those who don't want to their dearly departed to be shredded can buy the most expensive funeral plan, because they basically do a cremation of your doll. But you can buy the most expensive funeral plan, which allows them to watch as the doll is taken apart piece by piece and then buried, instead of just burnt into ashes. Now, it turns out there's a big demand for this in Japan. An online survey found that men who are replacing or getting rid of broken or used dolls wanted a formal goodbye because they considered it such a personal loss. Japan's human doll company is now looking in to cash in with 3 funeral packages. They're now even doing lower price packages at 220 euros.
God.
More
The most
affordable.
basic one, funeral, is just a service. For 350, you get your own personal service. The 201 is a group doll service. So you get like a whole bunch of dolls buried at one time. If you want your own personal,
People are actually paying
yes.
for this.
Now at $630, the package is called the Doll Angel Funeral Plan, and it allows the owner to accompany the figure to a processing facility after the service, where it's dismantled in front of them and spared from a machine that would destroy
can't.
it.
How will you be burying your doll, Yo-Yo?
Yeah.
I would
The-
never have.
They do not. Okay. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.